right, Karesha, you just passed the PMP. How'd you do and how do you feel?
I feel excited. I actually passed it 4 out of the 5 knowledge areas above targets. So when I say I was stoked, I am super stoked, and I'm still stoked. Like, I think we're still celebrating.
That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. So cool. So how long is that were you in the accelerator? Like how many weeks, days, whatever, approximately?
I think I started the accelerator at the end of August or beginning of no, I think it was mid-August. So from mid-August to October 21st is when I took the test. So about 2 months, I think, or a month and a half.
Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, like a
Yeah.
lot of people spend a ton of time like on it. So 2 months is great and you did amazing. So obviously something worked. So all right. So like now as you've gone through and you can reflect, we have like a couple different components, like all the videos and the step-by-step lessons, the coaching, the community stuff. When you think about things that made a big difference in your life as far as studying goes, which one of those made a difference and how or why?
So I have to admit that I actually had your ebook before I took the course. So your
Okay.
ebook is what caused me interest in getting into the 7 Day Accelerator.
Okay.
So I have to say the 7 Day Accelerator, looking at all the content that you had, those secrets for process, breakdowns, like the secrets to the processes were really good to me. And then taking a look at the quizzes, like the fact that I could track my results,
Mm-hmm.
because I think when I first started, so sorry, when I first started, I actually got like 50% at initiating, and I was like, what? No, 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 no. So I retook it until I had like 98%. so, so I think between those two and the coaching calls, like, I mean, honestly, that's what absolutely helped me get over the threshold.
What about the coaching calls really helped you?
I really enjoyed just the fact that the coaches were very personable. They actually knew you and cared about how you were doing. And when you take a look at how the sessions went, the students being there to help each other to go through the questions and understand exactly like how they were breaking down those questions and answering them,
Mhm.
that was a great assistance. And then when I think about Salvador, I mean, Salvador's breadth of knowledge when it came to PMP is just phenomenal. Like, it's exceptional. He's not looking at a book. He's just like, nope, this is why this is what works and this is why it doesn't work and this is how you should think about it. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so like having the perspective and having like the knowledge to go through, like now that you know, like for somebody that's starting out, if they were like, hey, just tell me like what is important? Like what's one thing that I should be focusing on, or how should I approach this thing? Like, what do you recommend for those kind of people? What should they be focusing on?
I think they should focus on just remembering how to look at the questions. I mean, you guys broke it down on the fact that we needed to look at the question first. So read that last sentence, understand exactly what they're looking for, go back and read through, understand exactly where we are with the process, and then look at each of those answers critically on how are they more applicable, what's the best question that suits this. So I think just using the logic that you guys gave us absolutely helped. I mean, when I went through the exam, I actually was inside and took it like inside of the actual
Nice.
location. The first hour of it, I thought maybe I was like, is there a joke? Is there a trick? These questions are difficult. but but I still leveraged like what you had said in the video. You were like, get into a good rhythm, skip those questions that you don't really feel comfortable with, and just keep your confidence up. And that's what I did. So I mean, I excelled and got through the quiz very first for the first part of the exam, and then for the last part of the exam, I mean, those answers were so easy, just according to what you did, and even EVM. So it really helped to just remember, treat each question like the customer, that client satisfaction, keeping your confidence up, not letting it dwindle, and just keep on pushing through.
That's good. Yeah. And I know like I can hear Salvador like talking through you a little bit like
Yeah, yeah.
individual customers. He thinks of the questions and stuff. So that's good. That's good. So like knowing what works is great. Sometimes knowing like what not to do is also important. So those people, if you could like look at students and be like, hey, do not do this or that. Like, what are some of those like don't do things that you would recommend they avoid?
I would say do not use memorization. I absolutely agree with you. Every question was a scenario that you had to think through. So memorizing, understanding what the processes stood for is what you really need to do. So critical thinking. So memorization is just a no-no. And then I would also say what you had stated before, remembering why you're doing this and what's pushing you to take the exam and what you want to do to excel was really a big game changer. So don't forget why you're doing it. Make sure that you're thinking about your goal. And I know that I have wrote on my paper, I would be embarrassed because I had taken the exam before and I failed, and I put down all these reasons for why I wanted to succeed and why I was pushing through it. And so just remembering that as I pushed, because it was hard to study. There's my husband, I don't think he got a cooked meal for those 2 months.
Oh,
so after I passed and I cooked him something, he was like, babe, I'm still thinking about that meal. So it was just like staying focused and just, making sure to stay focused and having good support. So
that is really good. And I love the fact like you brought like back to the why, like, because it was one of those things early on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, outside of like not being embarrassed and stuff like that, were there other reasons that drove you to initially get here? Like, what was the drive?
I've been in project management for almost, I think since 2006, and I'm like almost 14 years. I have to think about 2020. And I took the exam before and I didn't pass it. And when I got ready to take it again back in March, I did another program and it was, the memorization and everything else. And then when I came back to Washington State, everything shut down for COVID. It was just complete shutdown. So, trying to figure out what I should take to be supplemental for that, thank God I landed on, PM Master Prep. But I think outside of embarrassment, it really was, I gained more confidence on having my certification. I work in project management. I've worked in program management, portfolio management, and it's great that I've got the years of experience, but I wanted something that also reflected that's seen across the board as, yes, you are solid in project management. So those are one of the factors for why I wanted it, professional development, so I could look across at my peers and they say, yeah, she's got the certification that backs her years of experience as well.
That's nice. That's awesome. And like, so it seemed like you enjoyed the Salvador calls and the calls with like me,
Yeah.
and, like, the big calls. Like, what role do you think like the community like played of like the people being in there and all pushing it together? And how would you describe like the interaction between you and the other students and the coaches and stuff like that?
I would say we're like all cheerleaders. I mean, everybody takes their turn. One person has the football, and then everybody becomes the cheerleader, and they're like, yeah, you got it, you can do it. And then we pass it to the next person. That's how I feel like it is in my mind. I think it's Kate that we have on one call, and then there is, oh, why can't I think of her name right now? Sandy. Yeah. Sandy has the toys. That's all. I'm like the toy lady.
Yes.
Yeah. They're always just cheering you on, and it's very positive, and there's never a room where you feel there's never a negative factor in it from from your classmates to even the coaches. If you don't get a question right, it's not looked at as you're stupid or you should have known this or you should have known that. There's still that positive spin on, you didn't get it right, but learn from not getting it right. Everything that we've done in the program is really a learning lesson, even when it comes to the critical thinking of it. Mm-hmm. So I like that positivity, the cheering, the support from my peers. Everybody comes in from different ages, different backgrounds, and we're all there just wanting to see everyone pass this test. So
that's I think awesome. It's just awesome. And then like you've been in project management for years, like you said, and you're doing it. Do you think that, do you look at project management a little bit differently or any yes. better way now, and how so?
I do. I definitely look at it differently. Beforehand, you know how you get into your rigor on how you do things just because it's out of habit. Yeah. Now it's like, oh, well, my critical thinking of it is X, Y, and Z. Like, do I really want to go to the sponsor? Is this really some critical thing? No, I don't to, even though the sponsor and I can be best friends, I don't need to talk to them about it. I can figure it out or go through another avenue. Or even there was a scenario where it said, do you call your, if you had a team member doing something wrong, do you call them out on the spot? And it was like, no, maybe I just need to re-level set ground rules across the board with everybody. So it is taking a lot of those scenarios into my actual work and then understanding exactly why and also expressing it to my peers. So I think it makes us a stronger project management team by doing that.
That is awesome. All right. So cool. So I appreciate you taking a little bit of your Sunday out to talk to us. Last question I'll ask you is like, there are people out there that probably see themselves in you to be like, hey, she's a lot like me. She's got similar experience. She's really like positive and she wants to succeed and grow her career and get that certification behind her. I would like to do that. Like, I'd like to be like her. And so for those kind of people that want to make that next step and do it, knowing that we have 45 days left before it changes, like what would you recommend for those folks?
Well, I would recommend to get a jump on it now. I actually had my cousin sign up. So I've got a couple coworkers that I'm talking to about signing up because that exam is going to change. So I think it's like, as long as you get started now, you stay focused, talk to your coach. Your coach will help to assess exactly, are you thinking the way that you should? Are you answering the questions? Track what you should be doing, track your scores in the classes. How many are you getting right? How many are you not? But you got to jump in now before that exam changes. That was definitely a big factor of why I wanted to get it done now.
That is awesome. Well, Karesha, I really, really appreciate it. It helped a lot, like learning from you and getting the insights. I'm sure you inspired a bunch of people to do the same. So we're really, really proud of you of how well you did and how you stuck. And it's a little sad that you won't be there anymore, but whatever. It's okay. And like, we'll stick in touch. But good job. And thank you again. So.
Well, I thank you, Scott. I mean, between you and the coaches and even meeting the actual real John, I call him real John.
He is the real guy. Yeah.
Yes. He's like, did you call me that? You're the real John. But it's awesome. And thank you for just putting this together. I mean, honestly, you guys helped me to get to where I needed. So thank you for helping me just to improve to the next level.
Yes, ma'am. We're proud of you and excited to continue to support you. So we'll see you later. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Bye-bye. Yes,
bye-bye.
Bye.